Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this lecture series, we'll be discussing about the question bank and answer tips for your VTU exam or an university exam or the final exam for 21 ECE 53 Computer Communication Networks. In this series of video, we'll be discussing about the module 2 important questions with answer. Come, let's go into the video. Please do like, share, subscribe and comment. So moving on to the first question, explain in detail about transparent switches. So we need to know what is transparent switches. So actually this transparent switches, if it is available in the network, we will not be aware of that switch available in the network. So to make sure that the transparent switches are available in the networks, there are three main criteria that has to be followed. That is the frames, that is the data link layer will have frames. The frames has to be forwarded or routed from one station to the another station. And the forwarding table, if the frames forwards the data from one station to the another station, forwarding table must be updated automatically. And then the loops in the system must be completely prevented so that there is no error happening across the loops. So here you can see that the data, this is the switch, transparent switch, and the frames are sent from one station to the other station through transparent switch. And once the data is being sent, the address and the port number will be keep on updating automatically. So with this diagram you have to explain. Next question, demonstrate the relation of hub to a repeater. So we all know that it is a multi-port repeater. Hub is nothing but a multi-port repeater. So what is repeater then? This is a one which will operate at the lower layer, that is your physical layer. So here being the electromagnetic signals that is being used, the repeater, it will regenerate the signal on the same network, because the signal may get weak because we are handling with wireless LANs. So the signals may become weak. So before it is getting weak, it regenerates the signal. Repeater regenerates the signal. If suppose the signal, even though preventing it, it becomes weak, then what happens is this repeater will be sending bit by bit value to the other end, and it forms a star topology connection having one hub with n number of nodes connected to it. And as we have told that hub is a multi-port repeater, this hub will be connecting multiple wires or multiple nodes across all the branches to form the star topology as your repeater. And here the repeater will filter the data which has been weak and it regenerates the signal, but hub cannot filter any of the data. Yes. So moving on to the next question, infer in detail about the spanning tree algorithm. So actually the spanning tree algorithm is used for solving the looping problems. So these are the looping problems comes because of finding the shortest path and using the virtual LANs, all those. So to ensure that we use spanning tree algorithm to find the to solve the looping problem and also to find the shortest cost path. So here you can see that you have different LANs, L1, L2, L3 and L3 and L4, and you have n number of switches, S1, S2, S3, S4 and SY. So here what happens is the spanning tree will see the number of cost. So here to here it becomes 1. From here to here it is 0. So it will calculate which path can be followed to reach the destination from one particular point, and then so it makes sure that there is no looping problem occurs, because the switch itself will decide through which path the frames has to be taken. So this is the actual system, and this is the spanning tree algorithm, that is it solves a looping problem, and it has been explained. So with this diagram you will be explaining the spanning tree algorithm. Fourth one, illustrate the basis of membership in LAN. So to have a basis of membership in VLAN, that is virtual LAN, these are the four things that you have to remember. Interface number. Interface number is nothing but the port number that is being assigned for each and every communication taking place from one end to the other end. And MAC address. MAC address is nothing but it is a 48 bit of addresses which will ensure that this particular data is sent from one MAC address, one particular MAC address. So if suppose if there is any error happening, with the help of a MAC address, it can be identified. Same as the IP address, it is 32-bit. IP address is easy to locate, from which IP address the data is sent and received can be located. And multicast IP address is nothing but when you connect n number of LANs across WANs, then you have multicast IP address to ensure that from one particular WAN this much number of LANs are connected. So for that you need multicast IP address. So these are the four bases of membership in VLAN. Moving on to the next question. Explain and detail about the Ethernet protocol and IEEE standard for LAN. So here Ethernet LAN, what is Ethernet LAN is, we have studied about different networks, LAN, WAN, MAN, internetworking. Yes, so during the early years like 1980 to 1970, there were different kinds of LANs that has been used, and we also use CSMA CD, CSMA CA, Aloha to ensure that there is no collision problem occurring when different LANs are being used. And by this, there were token ring, token bus, FDDI, all these approaches have been followed. And one we can find that is, this is the one, that is the Ethernet protocol is the one which ensured that the data that is being sent is automatically updated. There will be an automatic upgradation in the system when you use Ethernet protocol. So that is why even after we had so much of LANs and WANs, we ensured that Ethernet is being used. It is one of the important protocol that is being used. And IEEE standard for LAN is, so here you can see physical layer and data link layer connected across the two parts, that is LLC and MAC, where your data link layer will have the sub layers. And then this is the IEEE standard that has been for physical layer, Ethernet physical layer, token ring, token bus, Ethernet with Ethernet standard protocols, which comes under IEEE standard. It has been used. So this diagram can be drawn, and you can tell that IEEE 802 is the one which has been used for the standard for LAN. Yes. Moving on to the next question, explain access method in standard Ethernet with example. So this is the diagram that you can portray for an example to determine the access method, determining how a station A is transmitting the data to station H, what all routes it follows. So through which cable it is transmitting the data. So for that you need to know the speed of propagation of the frames, and also you should know the transmission rate of the Ethernet. Maybe the transmission rate of Ethernet is 10 Mbps. So it means if it is 10 Mbps, then you can transmit 512 bits. So for 10 Mbps Ethernet, when you're transmitting 512 bits, 512 divided by 10 Mbps will be 51.2 microseconds. So out of which the within that particular seconds, 512 bits will be sent across from one end to the other end. So this is the access method in standard Ethernet. So you can give this as an example and explain. Hope you have understood the tips. Please be stay tuned for more information. Thank you.